All right, let's dive right into this explainer, where we're going to completely demystify the economy. So many of us go through life feeling like the financial system is this massive, rigged game that's actively playing against us. But what if we actually treated it like a game? Because the honest truth is, if we just learn the rules, we can rig it right back in our favor to win. But before we even step onto the playing field, we gotta ask kind of a wild foundational question. Is money even real? Well, the reality might actually surprise you. Currency is really just a social construct. The entire economy is just millions of simple transactions built entirely on a shared belief and mutual trust. It literally only works because we all collectively agree to pretend it works. Think about it. Why can a dollar bill buy you a coffee, but a stick from your yard can't? It's not like the paper itself is magically valuable. It's because of societal agreement. Just like how Steve Jobs created massive perceived value with the iPhone, or how Gucci can sell a handbag for 100 times the price of a generic one. They created a perception of value, and millions of people bought into it. Understanding that money is just perceived value, that is the absolute first secret of the game. So, to master this game today, we're going to progress through 4 distinct levels. Level 1, the playing field. Level 2, the hazards. Level 3, your player stats. And finally, Level 4, the cheat codes. Let's get into it.
Okay, Level 1, the playing field. Let's look at where our money actually lives.
For generations, we've been fed this myth, right? That banks are these giant, impenetrable vaults where a dragon basically guards your specific pile of gold coins. Well, scratch that. The reality? Banks are more like financial matchmakers. When you deposit $1,000, they keep a little bit, and then they immediately lend the rest out to someone else so they can buy a jet ski or start a business. They aren't just moving money around, they're actually creating credit out of thin air, which acts just like money and expands the entire economy. And that brings us to a really crucial definition: fractional reserve banking. This is a system where banks only keep a fraction of your actual deposits on hand, lending the rest out to make a profit. It's a brilliant system, honestly, and it keeps the economy expanding, unless, of course, people panic and want to withdraw all their money at exactly the same time. When that credit suddenly dries up, the entire system crumbles and contracts. And that is exactly the painful deleveraging we saw back during the 2008 financial crisis.
Moving right along to Level 2, the hazards. These are the invisible forces that take your money.
Hazard number 1 is taxes. Now, nobody likes seeing their hard-earned cash vanish, but taxes are essentially the cost of civilization. They fund the roads you drive on, they make sure your favorite taco truck isn't infested with rats, and they buy billion-dollar missiles. And the system takes its cut from literally every angle. Income tax hits what you make, sales tax hits what you spend, capital gains tax hits the money your investments make while you're literally sleeping, then you've got Social Security and Medicare on top of that. It's an annoying ritual for sure, but a necessary one. Then we have hazard number 2, and honestly, this one is way sneakier: inflation. This is the slow, quiet erosion of your money's value over time. It doesn't happen overnight, it's a slow leak. Why does it happen? Well, usually total spending, meaning both cash and credit, grows faster than the production of actual goods. Imagine 2,000 people all using easy credit to fight over just 1,000 TVs. The business owner sees that frenzy and just raises the price from $500 to $800. Your $5 bill is still a $5 bill, but suddenly it buys less. It just quietly steals your purchasing power. And then we have the ultimate hazard, the economic cycle. Think of the economy like a massive party driven entirely by borrowing. In the boom phase, credit is super easy to get, everyone is dancing, and jobs are everywhere. But eventually, debt builds up, the economy hits a peak, and the lights start to flicker. We hit the bust. Jobs vanish, people stop spending because they have to pay back their debts, and suddenly the DJ is just playing sad lo-fi beats. But notice that final step, reset. Recessions are incredibly painful, but they are a necessary reset to clear out bad debt before businesses can rebuild and the whole cycle starts over again. All right, Level 3, your player stats. This is exactly how the game grades you.
To access the absolute best parts of the economy, you need credit. And that relies on a somewhat shadowy algorithm, the credit score. Now, your credit score doesn't measure how rich you are. It measures trust. Lenders are simply asking one question: will you pay us back? The largest chunk of your grade is your payment history. Are you actually paying on time? Then it's credit utilization. How much of your available credit are you actively using? That's followed by the age of your credit, your mix of accounts, and any new credit applications. Listen, you can have zero debt and millions in the bank, but without this history, you are a walking red flag to lenders.
So the ultimate goal here is getting into that 750 to 850 range. If you score over 750, you are basically sparkling with adult credibility, and that unlocks the absolute best interest rates for things like houses and cars. You kind of have to treat your credit score like a pet dog. If you take care of it, feed it, and walk it by paying your bills on time, it helps you buy a house. Ignore it, and it will completely ruin your financial goals.
Now, for the fun part. Level 4, the cheat codes. Let's talk wealth strategies.
It all starts with really understanding interest, because interest is just money's way of charging rent to exist in someone else's hands. Simple interest is pretty straightforward. It's a flat fee, thanks for playing. But compound interest, oh man, that's when every dollar you lend out creates a clone, and then those clones start charging rent too. But compound interest is a double-edged sword. If you're on the wrong side of it, like with a high-rate credit card, it triggers a vicious debt spiral. When you borrow, you are literally pulling future consumption forward. You're borrowing from your future self. A 20% interest rate can easily turn a simple $12 burrito into a $50 regret if you miss payments and let that interest earn interest against you. It turns small mistakes into massive financial fires.
But if you use compound interest in your favor, you unlock the real investment cheat codes. Investing is simply trading your money for more money to fight off that inflation we talked about. You can buy stocks, which are tiny ownership slices of companies. You can buy bonds, which are basically loans you make to governments or companies. You can buy funds, which bundle all these together to lower your risk, or you can buy real estate, property that somebody else literally pays you to live in. And the thing is, there are exact, predictable steps the wealthy use to win. Step 1, invest consistently. Step 2, give compound growth time. Step 3, wait 30 years. And Step 4, multiply your wealth. The rich didn't just win the lottery or beat the system, they simply used the system. They allowed small, seemingly boring gains to duplicate like a cheat code and become massive, massive wins over decades.
There's a quote I love. There is no greater force in wealth building. Not luck, not income, time. Time is your ultimate asset. Everyone starts with a lot of it, but no one gets an unlimited supply. Wealth is built in decades, not days. This is exactly how ordinary people with completely modest paychecks manage to retire with 7 figures. They just gave their money the time it needed to multiply.
Which brings us to the end of this explainer, and I want to leave you with a question to think about. Are you just trading your time, or are you actually making your time work for you? If you're just trading hours directly for a paycheck, you are playing this game on the hardest difficulty. But if you start applying these rules, understanding credit, avoiding the hazards, and actually using the cheat codes, you can finally stop trading your time and start playing to win.